Hey there, I'm Lauren Anderson. Welcome to my yoga studio. I would like to offer you a practice today that is just kind of a quick, easy pelvic floor focused flow. A lot of breathing, a lot of awareness, really figuring out how to understand what's going on in your pelvic floor in every moment and bring just a little bit of balance back to the area. So grab a blanket and block and join me on your mat with your legs up the wall. So regular legs up the wall, we're all the way up with our bum, with our booty touching the wall, and the heels are up the wall. I would like you though to take a blanket, put it on the soles of your feet, and do that same thing. And just start here. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale. Let it go. Take another inhale. Exhale. Let it go. And as our thoughts begin to pop up, we acknowledge them, tell them we'll see them later or we'll get back to them soon. We bring our awareness to the soles of the feet touching that blanket. We are quote unquote grounded upside down. Our feet are firmly kind of pressing into the blanket. The blanket is falling over our feet. Notice that sensation. And then take the awareness all the way up the body. Just check in along the way as we walk up through the calves, the back of the knees, the shins, the front of the knees, tops of the thighs, the backs of the thighs, the pelvic floor, the pelvis, the hips, the belly, the ribs. The chest. You can feel your heartbeat. Feel that beat. Shoulder blades pressed into the ground. So if you've taken a pelvic floor class with me before, you know that we focus on mindfulness first because our anxiety, our stress, our nervousness, our tension can all translate into pelvic health concerns, issues, tension, weakness. And we just try to, quote unquote, settle the nervous system as we move in this area. Bend the knees and just slowly bring that down so you can grab the blanket. And you're going to scooch yourself back so that the knees stack directly over the hips. We'll take that blanket underneath us so that the top, so that it's lengthwise. That didn't work. So that we take it lengthwise and this edge will be under the sacrum and then this is going to be kind of coming out from the tailbone. And here we are. Just with the knees bent, just our sacrum's up on that blanket. And notice how that feels. Sacrum's completely supported. We'll straighten the right leg. We'll just drop it out to the right. And then we'll just let the left knee drop open. Bring the sole of the foot back to center. Bend the knee. Straighten the left leg. Drop it over to the left. Drop the right knee out to the right. So you're making this check mark with the inner thighs. And as you're here, how does that feel? in your pelvic floor, in your inner thighs. And come back to center. Just let the heels rest into the wall. Now we're going to kind of straggle or get that blanket and we're going to pull it up. So we've created this kind of like girdle from the top of the pelvis and wrapped it around to the front of the pelvis. So it's touching the bottom of the pelvic floor. As we inhale, noticing the fullness, the pelvic floor relaxing, and as we exhale, the natural excursion of the pelvic floor contracting and moving away from the blanket. If you don't sense that, or you have no sensation, or you don't have the awareness, or you're not sure if you're feeling that, it's okay. It might just feel like you inhale and there's a fullness. You exhale and the fullness disappears. Take the feet off the wall and set them down now. Take a couple of breaths there just to notice how that feels now. That straddle, that wrap around the pelvic floor. Let go of the blanket and roll off of the blanket. We'll just come on to all fours. And I want you to take the blanket. We're going to start and we're going to put it on our low back. And as we inhale, we're going to let the blanket kind of fall into the rib cage. The ribs are going to sink towards the ground. The frontal hip points will drop towards the ground. Crown of the head lifts and the tailbone lift. And then as you exhale, you round. The blanket might feel like it's falling off, and that's fine if it does. Just adding a little extra sensation to the low back, the SI joints, the back of the pelvis, the sacrum. Just up and down. I feel like sometimes external feedback is really good to get us to be aware of where our body is at, not only where our body is at in space, but really what sensations are happening there. Take one more breath in each direction. So you've kind of felt what's going on when the blanket is both in where the ribs drop and where the tailbone drops. So when the ribs are dropped, it feels like the blanket is crunching into the low back. And if the tailbone is tucked, it feels like the blanket is going to slide off. Find it neutral. So it's just laying across the low back, and then reach the right arm forward. If you'd like, you can take the left leg back. And notice what that did to the hips, the sensation of the blanket, and in the pelvic floor. Did you notice a tightness or tension? And then low back, and then back down, pardon me. So when I say feel a tension, did you notice the pelvic floor start to contract? Take an inhale. Exhale, reach the left arm forward. The right leg kicks back. And notice your sensations. And release one more time each side with your own breath, your own pace, maybe moving both at the same time. And lower. Inhale. Oh, my blanket's gonna fall. And lower. I kind of tilted my hips there. And then we just kind of slide back into a child's pose. Breathing ever so softly. We're going to take that blanket. I'm going to kind of shove it under the pelvic floor, under the pelvis, the base of the pelvis. We're going to roll it so we get a little height, and we're just going to come into a child's pose. And this is where we're going to end. If this is not comfortable for you, it's too low to the ground, please feel free to use a pillow or a stack of a pillow and a blanket, or a bolster or a block with a blanket over the top. Any of those things are acceptable. The knees go out wide, the ankles are soft. You've got some feedback and sensation in your pelvic floor, and we'll take a few breaths. And when you're ready, we'll pop ourselves up into a seated position. We'll sit on top of the rolled blanket. Be very comfortable here. And thank you for being here with me today. I appreciate you. Come back again. I'll see you next time.